From marathon to survivor, a life journey of strength and grace. From the tennis courts of New Orleans to the finish lines of over 450 races, our friend Adele, who happens to be our co host and our guest today, is a true testament to resilience, passion, and unwavering faith. A long life athlete, mother, grandmother, and cancer survivor, not once, but twice. She's faced life's toughest battles with grace and determination. Whether she's running marathons or walking with wisdom, her journey is powerful reminder that fitness is more than just movement. It's a way of life. Join us as we dive into the inspiring story of triumph, faith, and the undeniable power of the runner spirit. Please welcome Adele Bonnaffons.
Hi,
Hi,
everybody.
Adele.
Hi, sweetheart. It's good to see you again, Victor. It's a pleasure.
Nice seeing you. I'm so happy to have you here, and I'm really excited to hear your story.
I tell you what, when we talked about this last week and I did that little teaser for our viewers that I was going to be doing a race, I thought this would be a prime opportunity to share some of our transformational things that we love to do with our clients and people who ask us, how did we get where we are today? How did we survive the struggles, right? How did we enjoy the triumphs? And I thought maybe this would be a really good opportunity for us to share a lot of that. So I
Absolutely.
appreciate you allowing me my opportunity to tell my story because I think it's a good one.
Yes, definitely, definitely. I think it's going to be very. People want to know, how do people get over something like that, or if they are experiencing something similar, or someone they know.
Right, right.
It's very inspiring. It's very. I look forward to listening to it. Definitely.
I will tell you a little bit where it started if you want. And I think in your introduction of your beautiful introduction of my story, I am a mom. I'm a New Orleans girl, obviously a New Orleans girl. Most people will be able to pick that up from the accent. But I'm a New Orleans girl, born and bred. Love my home city, greatest city in the world. It's the best. I love running through it. I've run every street on it. I know where everything is, and when they change it and improve and bring new things in, it's fun for me to go down there and take a walk around the French Quarter and the Superdome, which I run by all the time. But I am a New Orleans girl. I'm a mom. I'm a grandmother. I'm a sister. A wife. I'm a significant partner. Um, I am a Catholic girl that grew up in Catholic schools. I graduated from LSU, so that means
Oh
I
wow.
am an LSU purple and gold tiger inside and out. I did some undergrad studies finished my undergrad at Louisiana State University, and I worked on my master's studies at both Oklahoma State University and Stephen F. Austin. So a lot of that is education based, but going to the Catholic schools made a big difference. There were 6 kids in the family, and it gave us a lot of really concrete structure. Catholic religion was my faith base from my parents, so that had a lot to do with the faith base of part of my life. But that's changed a lot, as I became an adult, made some changes in that. So we'll address that a little bit later. But one of the beauties of being an athlete and having sports and fitness be a part of my life lifelong is
Yeah.
the 6 of us, 6 kids. There's 3 boys and 3 girls. I'm number 2 in the line. I have an older brother who, boys are sometimes the golden children if they're first. I paved the way for everybody else.
Yeah. So,
And my brother,
at what age did you consider yourself an athlete?
we started playing sports when we were young, kind of like the little ponytail things or the little school sports, the little bitty kids and running the little races around the neighborhood for church and school. Truly, 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 probably in what would be considered that 10, 11-year old age
Okay.
bracket because around the age of 9, I really wanted to learn how to play tennis. I focused on things to play tennis, which I did in high school. So you figure 9 or 10, you're in that fourth or fifth grade realm. My birthday being late in the year, I was always one of the younger ones in my class because birthday's in December. Starting school at 4, so when I say 9, I was probably in fourth or fifth grade at the time. We were able to play school sports. We went volleyball, track, all the things that were age appropriate. Right? We played
Hmm.
baseball and indoor ball, which is the big cabbage ball, is what we called it in New Orleans growing up. I played that till I was in my 20s,
Is it softball?
competitively.
Is it the
Yeah,
same
not
thing as
softball,
softball?
not with the glove. We did play with the glove.
Oh,
That
oh,
was a
okay.
different thing. But the big cabbage ball, it's not a glove based thing. It's a very short field you play on asphalt. And that's the Catholic schools, the public schools, our high schools. And we could play in what we called our Catholic Youth Organization, which was the organization for young adults, teens and young adults, and you could play all the sports, all the social activities, and all that through the age of 21. And we had city championships at reach. I mean, it was great, and I was always on the championship team. I'm just saying. I don't want to tell you, but I am. And I was just a really gifted athlete in a lot of ways. And I think part of that was supplemental to being encouraged academically by my parents. Um, School and education held a very, very high level of importance for the six of us. And I know
Okay.
they struggled to keep all of us in Catholic school. The beauty of going to a tuition based school was that we got scholarships to our high schools. My brother got a full scholarship to Brother Martin. I got a half scholarship to Dominican. My sister behind me got a full. They would not. We were very high academic achievers. I finished valedictorian through all of my elementary school years. I finished in the top 20 in a class of 220 for high school. Very high academic achievers, which allowed us some of the financial assistance of scholarships and financial aid to put 6 kids through school and into college and LSU graduates. And of course, by that time, we were all working to help supplement that. But also, all of us have advanced degrees. All 6 of us have gone further than an undergraduate level, regardless of if it's a full fledged diploma or accreditation or licensing. We've all developed other post undergrad education skills, etc., master's degrees, law degrees. My sister is extremely high level educator. She could probably run the whole country education wise because of her skill set. But the whole idea was that education was important, and we've instilled that in our next generation of our children as well. So it was a big part of life to have time management to succeed that highly academically, but also have the sports and the service and the community part of life as well. And I think that's where my passion comes in, and that transferred to the running and the fitness and the athletics. So I consider myself an athlete pretty young, and I
Okay.
was I
Okay.
was very accomplished in a lot of ways. um, MVP a lot of times on different things, captain of a team on different, all the way through, and it really made a difference on being a role model. So a lot of that transferred into my running life as well. But it started young.
Yes.
Started young.
Yes. And did you do much running at a young age?
It's funny because I look back as I was thinking over all of these years and looking at back at my history. I started running around the neighborhood when I got punished.
It was your coping
you know,
mechanism.
yeah. Passion and punishment go hand in hand sometimes. I had a passion to just be independent and like take charge of things. And, sometimes when you're a little bit younger, you have some boundaries to learn, right? And I'm only 5'1". I'm not 5'2" anymore. I used to be 5'2", at least I thought it was, but I'm 5'1" and a quarter. And I would get punished. And we were in a little small house, 6 kids, my two parents. It was the greatest environment in the world. But if I got punished, I'd climb out my bedroom window and just run around the neighborhood. And my parents, it was funny. This is really true. And I don't know if people who watch the video that have known me all my life realize this, but I think they'll remember. The neighbor used to call my mom and dad, "Hey, Lou and Jean is deadly punished again. She's running around the neighborhood. She's on lap 4 around the block. She's probably getting hungry." I couldn't. pull myself back in my window because I was too short to pull myself back into my window.
Oh, okay.
So when I got hungry, I'd run back and try to sneak back in so that my punishment was still basically in my bedroom if I was punished for a little while. They knew where I was. So I did start running when I was younger.
Nice, nice. It's funny you say
Whole
that
different
because
purpose.
I had a PE teacher that was he would no, I was a teacher who was also happened to be our PE teacher also, but in the classroom when someone got punished, he would make them go run laps on the track.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And a lot of people who
but you
say
punished
they hate running,
yourself.
yeah, a lot of people hate running because that's their experience with running. And then they realize,
Yeah,
wow, running and walking can give you a lot of really good health benefits besides just being fun.
yes.
But I did run track. I ran, I call it a lot more simplistic than what we might see our children and our children's children looking at as track development now. Even my tennis development, I picked up the game around 9 or 10 years old. I really wanted to play. We didn't have a lot of the coaching and academies that the next group came in 10, 15 years younger behind me. um, so a lot of it was self-taught or just going with friends and family, but the running actually complemented my tennis career. And the reason of being, I got very, very serious running 3 to 5 miles at a time, 15, 20 miles a week, because as a young adult and in college, I did not play for LSU. I played the club sports. I played, the intramurals and all that. I wasn't a varsity athlete at LSU for tennis. I wish I would have been, but I had lots of friends, and I used to be on the tennis courts all the time. People knew who I was because I'd ride my bike around campus. The backpack would have the tennis racket and the backpack all together with an extra pair of shoes, the tennis shoes, to use in the court. So everybody knew where I was going after class every day. But the beauty of that was running around campus, running around the different cities that I went to, for different things in high school. I was involved in a lot of the leadership roles at high school, honor society. I was president of the student council. I did some engagements. I represented the school. So a lot of that, if I went somewhere else, I'd always have my running shoes with me, right? I played volleyball. I played tennis. I did all. I'm sorry, I did not play volleyball. I played tennis, all that. But the sports nowadays at that level are very, very well developed and very disciplined because they allow a lot of scholarship athletes to continue into college. So the things I did was a lot different. I'm out of high school 50 years, so it was very, very different then. But the beauty of that is very simplistic. That's where it all started. And you don't beat a runner on a tennis court very easily because a runner will stay out there all day till they win the race or win the match. So that's where it really became very, very important and much more structured running, training for 5Ks, training for 10Ks. And then as I got older, training more and more for the half marathons and marathons as I, with children and post cancer and things like that. So it's always been a
Okay.
part of my life, always.
So tell us a little bit about that. Like when were you first diagnosed with cancer, and how did the running play a role
That's
in
is
that?
very, very good question, and I appreciate you asking me that question very much because it truly saved my life through those 10 years of cancer, and I'll tell you why. I was a championship level tennis player, meaning that I was ranked in the state, I was ranked in the southern region, so I competed a lot. Um, the running obviously supplemented any other training I was doing because I was fit. I had a lot of endurance. Marrying Eddie, I was 28 years old at the age of 30, and coming from a big Catholic family, I always anticipated having children. At the age of 30, I was diagnosed with cervical and uterine cancer. 2 years into our marriage, 30 years old, I'm a beautiful young bride. I'm a happy, accomplished person, and it was it affected a lot of things. The marriage was going through some went through some struggles because I was struggling. The the lifestyle I wanted to live was not going to be there. The mortality for me was a very real thing that I had to face. I'm not going to have children. I'm going through these surgeries every couple of months. I chose not to do treatment, which I'll discuss in a minute. But it affected me because what could I still do? I could not control what was going on inside except by the direction I received from my doctor. But I could control what I could do outside. I could control my fitness. I could control what I needed more than anything was the sanity that the running gave me. It gave me a sense of peace. It got all the aggression. I go, just get out and run, Adele. Get out and run. I used to run very early in the morning. I could get out that aggression. I could get out that fear. I could really get the sanity of if I could just go run four or
Yeah.
5 miles, I'd come back. I was calmer. I felt mentally focused. The clarity of getting through my day was there. If I had to be hit with information that, hey, the biopsy was terrible, we're going under the knife again, I could handle it. And that is probably the greatest gift running has given me for the last 50 years. And I say
Yeah.
that with a genuine honesty. I don't know if a lot of people will say that because they may not have had to use running in that respect. And you got to remember too, there were days I couldn't run. I would go out for a walk because I may have had a surgery, but I needed the fresh air. I needed the sense of movement. I needed the sense of my heart being released, as well as my mind and spirit. And I truly am grateful that I found that part of my life to help me settle and deal with any kind of things I would be faced with.
Yeah. Now, do you experience like the runner's high as
Oh,
well with the Mm.
yes, but you know what? The key is that allowing ourselves to experience it, right? Um,
Yes.
it, and we actually hit on this a little bit last week when we talked about it. It's not going to happen the first time you go out, and I'll relate that back to my situation and my story. But you have to allow yourself to build up to the sense of feeling a runner's high. Your body has to get used to getting to that point. And I think that was the greatest thing that I could find if I knew, okay, I'm so much in my head. If I'd had another diagnosis, okay, I'm going to have surgery tomorrow. I'm going to go run 5, 6, 7 miles. I'm going to really let my body just explode. And what it would do was physically, I'd feel great. I'd feel spent. I'd had that feeling of I did everything I could do. But internally and mentally and physically and spiritually, whew, firecrackers went off. That runner's high is something that's almost difficult to explain. And when you're using it in a completely different aspect of dealing with a stressful situation, that runner's high is so much significance, Victor, beyond just getting there and going, whoa, I can do it. Whoa, I can face this. I
Yeah.
can address this, right? So, yeah, I definitely have experienced the runner's high on a lot of
Yeah.
different levels.
Yeah, don't you feel like it reinforces your belief system? Like you go into the run already having maybe a positive attitude
Mhm.
and a sense of belief, but I feel anyway when I do when I experience the runner's high that whatever I already believe is intensified or
Right.
amplified even more.
And I
That's
think that's a great point because you're allowing everything to fire. It's not just the
right.
legs and arms and the breathing, it's the heart, the soul, just the release of everything that makes you feel so good. And you know what? I'll tell you honestly, it doesn't always have to come from that exaggerated speed or that exaggerated distance or that exaggerated time on your feet, right? It can
Right.
come in a few minutes if you allow it to happen, right? You know that. We're long
Yes.
distance
Yes.
athletes, right? We can stay
That's
out there
right.
forever, but it can happen quickly.
Yes. And do you feel I've noticed, and I don't know if you've noticed the same thing, that the creativity part
Hmm.
of our brain goes expands quite a bit as well. 'Cause I know I come up with ideas. Mm,
Hmm.
so it's pretty similar to what you've experienced.
Right, and
That
and
does.
and that is huge in my life now. As I've gone through different things, and we'll go back to some of the other parts of the cancer and how it affected me. But the beauty of having that happen now is there's a settlement in my age and wisdom and my season in life now whatever I do need to encounter, it's not near as stressful or not near as complicated as it could be when you're younger and you're married and maybe raising children and you're dealing with different decisions. You're writing different stories than I'm writing in my senior years now. So that is such an opportunity to let the body and mind and soul allow the everything to create on a whole different level. And if it's about creating something that you want to in life, or you're making a decision about something for your children, or you're making a decision about, hey, what can we do as a family together because we're dealing with a stressful situation? How can we remove ourselves from it for a little while? Let's create an experience, right? Or dealing with some life changes like the loss of a parent, or some very difficult situations that you may encounter, job loss, whatever. When you allow yourself to create, you find resolution and solution. And I think that's a huge
Yes.
point. I think you've been through that too with different things in your experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I was going to ask you, like, even I've experienced the runner's high, but also the community. Like,
Hmm.
when you are with friends, you kind of tend to have the same level of enthusiasm, same level of support, where I imagine that going through something like cancer and having that kind of community surrounded by friends and going out on those runs,
Yeah.
that helps.
It helps a lot because I have a very significant, what I call my little running buddies. And it's a significant group of five people. And I had an older gentleman who recently passed away about a year and a half ago, who used to run with us. And he was a veteran of I think, 7 or 8 Boston marathons, maybe
Wow.
10. Joe is 20 years older than me, so he would be 87 now. He passed away a year ago. Seasoned, incredibly seasoned runner. However, him as a person, as an individual, his kids were around my age. He could understand us who were younger than him, and he would share things with us. So that was a significant relationship. Bob, Kenta, Louise, Joyce, all of these people who have run with me through the years, through all those 10 years, we've known each other. We've raised our children together. We've been through very, very many life changing and life season of life experiences together. We are still one little compact unit, and uh, still try to do as much as we can together, cycle, run, walk, whatever, and be there for one another when we have our life experiences. I find that that is a true gift. A lot of people find it a group, like we're talking about community, their different interests. I have my tennis friends and tennis relationships that I still maintain, even though I'm not playing right now. But this little group and their spouses and families and all the kids that we've raised together, it's an incredibly wonderful gift, and it's an unconditional boundaries. There are none to our
Oh,
relationship and what
nice.
we'll do for each other. So it's amazing. Yes.
That's great. That's great. And now, do you have also uh, younger generations that you guys run
Yeah.
with that look up to
Yeah.
you guys?
Yeah. Yeah, we bring them in all the time, and they can't last as long as we can.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
We bring them in all the. Hey, can y'all help us learn how to run a marathon? Yeah, and, the younger generation doesn't always want to learn. They want to push a button or pull it up or something else. But when you have the age and wisdom and experience, Bob, my friend Bob, who hopefully will come and share his story with us sometime soon. He's a retired New Orleans fireman, captain, I believe. Had all the paramedic training, the whole bit. He retired not too long, several years ago, actually, because of some injuries from different experiences from his years as a firefighter and rescuing people and saving lives and everything else. But his goal was to run in every state, which I think you've had that goal as well. I
Yes.
did too. I did too. Now I'll walk, ride, hike. I'll do something as long as I can get to every state. But he had 23 different states, and that's not just 23 marathons. He had 23 marathons, different states, but he also ran many, many marathons. And his marathon distance running life was cut short because of the back injuries from his professional career. He still runs, he still walks, he cycles like the Dickens with me. the deal is that he didn't even start running till 40. Stopped
Wow.
smoking at the age of 40 because a very good friend who was a firefighter died of lung cancer. He started running, stopped smoking. Bob is now 2 years older than me. And it's amazing. So, all of that stuff that we've been through together is still there. You know, they're there for
Yeah.
me, we're there for each other. But the beauty of that is that we all learn from each other too. And when we have the younger generation come up, it's like, okay, well, you don't want to tell them, I told you so, but when you train to help somebody train for a marathon and you're teaching them good nutrition and good hydration and not overtraining and not running through an injury, cross train through an injury, get in a pool and walk, and they don't listen, they don't get to achieve their goal that they're working so hard for, that they've set for themselves. That's
Yeah.
probably the biggest key. But when the younger generation does pay attention to the age and wisdom, they usually can achieve what they want to achieve. So y'all keep that in mind when y'all listen, okay?
Yes, and well, now you coach athletes and people who want to do half marathons or even a 10K. Mm,
Yeah, I'm helping, and actually, I do a lot of modified. I do coach some clients. I do help some people through our gym, and it's not so much. Um, it's not always actual running because I do have some seniors that really want to learn how to walk that distance because they're not capable with some different body issues to run. So it's a lot of fun to do clients who are hardcore, got to do it, got to run, got to find a time on a clock, compared to some that want to modify run walk, do the run walk method, the Jeff Galloway method,
yes.
as you and I both know, and yet get to the same finish line. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The other part of that is also introducing them to some fitness and nutrition and hydration information that they may not already have experienced. And when you can help somebody do that, from couch to 5K, as they say, or I want to run my first marathon because I'm 40 or I'm 50, or I want to do the run walk method because I can't take the stress on my body or my joints to run a full 13 miles or a full 26, but I can run walk all day long. When you learn how to uniquely address those issues for each individual client, it's a lot of fun and very rewarding to me to say, okay, let's look at this. Let's look at a little bit of joint support. Let's look at some little bit difference in your electrolytes and your hydration and in your nutrition. And what about some recovery work as well and some cross training? How are you sleeping? So all of
Yeah.
that's a lot of fun for me. So I enjoy working with the different clients. And as a matter of fact, we talked about me doing a race this past week. And when I say race, I walked a quarter marathon with my very, very good friend Joyce. And Joyce is 5 years older than myself. I hate saying that because she doesn't like me to say it, but she is an incredible woman. She's one of my best friends. She's part of our little unique little group. And
Nice.
Joyce is a triathlete. She's competed in triathlons. She does the sprint distance. I don't know if she's completed the Olympic distances or if she's relay, but I know she's in a lot of sprints and some that are a little bit longer than the sprints. She can swim all day. She can cycle my pants off. She can run, walk with, but we're both back into more of the walk run because of different things that have affected our bodies recently. So she said, look, I'm going to go with you because no, y'all know me, right? She tells everybody, I'm going to do this with her because she needs company. I'm a company waiting to happen. I'm just saying. But I truly love this woman. She's a very, very special part of my life and my family's life. So we go and we walk the quarter marathon, which is a 6.55 um, mile race. This was at the Louisiana Marathon Weekend, which I've been there every year for the last 14 years. I cannot miss it, regardless of what I do. And I would always run the 5K or the quarter marathon on Saturday and go back and run the half marathon on Sunday. That was the thing I did for probably 12 years. Um,
Okay.
3 years ago, I'd had shoulder surgery, so I couldn't do the longer race at that point in time. It was only a couple of weeks, 2 months post um, shoulder surgery, not shoulder replacement, rotator cuff labrum, the whole bit, biceps. But I couldn't put that much impact for that much time on the shoulder yet. So I did the quarter on Saturday, did not go back for the half. But a couple of years ago, I did. I did the 5K and I did the half marathon. Last year I did the quarter. I ran the quarter, finished first in my age group, and I wasn't really running
Nice.
fast, y'all. I wasn't running fast. I was just enjoying myself. But when I got my little ticker tape at the end, they said, "Oh, Miss Adele, you finished first. Go get your other medal." Okay. It was such an accomplishment that I wasn't even trying for. And that's the beauty of just getting out and doing it. And then all of a sudden, you say, "Oh wow, look how good I'm feeling. Let me just keep going." And you don't know what's at the end. You don't know what's at the end of the finish line, right? Once you cross it,
Right.
it's out there. This year, because of the surgery on my leg, which I'll address in a minute, and Joyce has a little bit of a knee issue right now. We walked. Do you know that she finished first in her age group with the walk? That's, I mean,
Wow.
fast. We go fast.
Yeah.
We talk to people along the way. I think that's the other part of my running passion is the people. And you mentioned community. We have our little communities that we are engaged in, consistently and regularly, but walking and running and sharing just a few encouraging words makes
That's
such
awesome.
a difference. It really does.
Yes, I've seen in the numerous studies that are shown. They keep coming with new studies that
Mhm.
relationships
Right,
are
right,
fundamental for longevity and a healthier, happier life.
right. Well,
Mm,
I think too that one of the biggest things, and I share this with people all the time. It's a quote from Helen Keller, by the way, that is in one of my quote books I read every day. Life is an amazing adventure, or nothing at all. If you're not going to take it by the reins and live it, it's not worth it. So when you can meet people along a race route and share a story, you don't know what significance that has on them or impact that has on them. And I'll tell you why. Back in 2018, I went with Joyce and another friend. We went to run the Disney World Princess Weekend. And this is all about the princesses. I'm going to tell you, if you've never been to Disney World at that in February when they do the Princess Half Marathon Weekend, it's a 5K, it's a 5K, 10K, and half. It is all about the princesses. Everybody's wearing a crown. We go everywhere. I mean, I wear my tiara. We went as a group because I was turning 60 and Joyce was turning 65. And our other friends went as a couple. And the beauty of that is we went to the expo. We went to get our stuff. And I was running the 5K, the 10K, and the half marathon. I was doing the challenge that, and I was
okay.
getting, I was hardcore running at the time. And I met a lady. Boston had been under severe snow and blizzard conditions for several days. Very large lady. She was walking with a cane and was going to get her number and get an extra T-shirt. And I just happened to say hi to her. And I said, "Hey, how you doing today?" And her husband was with her. And she said, "Oh, I'm doing great." I said, "Oh, where are you from?" She says, "Well, you got an accent. Are you from Brooklyn or New Orleans?" I said, "New Orleans." And I said, "Where are you from?" She says, "Boston." I said, "Boston, how did you get here?" She says, "One day of flying was the only day in like 6 or 7 days, and it happened to be the day for her to get down to Orlando, Florida." I said, "What are your plans? What are you going to be doing?" She says, "I'm going to walk the half marathon. My husband's going to walk the 5K with me. I'm going to walk the half marathon." She literally was on a brace, a crutches type brace, and hooked to her arm. I said, "Really?" She says, "Yeah." She says, and she was a larger woman. She says, "I'm on a journey to lose weight and get healthy. I've been diagnosed with different things, not cancer, but some life issues. And I carry magnets around with me. And my magnets are my mantra. And it says, the miracle is not that I finished, but that I had the courage to start. And it's a quote that I know a lot of runners have seen. I live by that.
Yes,
And it's not
that's
about
awesome.
right. It's not about getting out there and running those 10Ks or those half marathons or 5Ks. What it is, it's about walking out your door, lacing up your shoes, and just
Yes,
taking your first step. Correct?
amen.
So I always buy like a dozen of these magnets. I carry them around with me at the expos. And her lady's name is Barbara. I said, "Barbara," I said, "I want you to have this. And you keep it with you and take it with you and put it in your suitcase." I said, "Because this is all about you." I, to this day, and it's almost 10 years, I mean, every February I get a little message from her. And I'm sorry, it was 2013. It was 2013. And I get a little message from her that says, "Thank you so much. Thank you so much for changing my
That's
life that
great.
day." You don't know what your smile or your
Yeah,
message can do for someone. I mean, I look
Yeah.
forward to it every February, so I know it'll be coming up soon. So it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a true transformation. And I mean, and that's one of the things that I love about running and about coaching runners is witnessing the transformation that goes
Hmm.
along with running or just making that decision that I want to change my lifestyle. I want to start doing this healthy thing and make it a habit. So if somebody was trying to or thinking about running and or maybe somebody who earlier years had an injury and then stopped running and they're thinking about starting to do something, what would be
Mm.
your advice as far as things that they should start doing or where to
Well,
start?
I'll tell you very honestly because I'm experiencing a little bit of that now. As we mentioned earlier, I beat cancer again for the second time just recently. I had a melanoma removed 3 weeks ago
Congrats.
today. I am
Awesome.
cancer free, just like I was when I turned 40 and ran my first marathon to celebrate that. The biggest thing is that you have to really pay attention to your body. If you've had some health issues, make sure you get the release from a medical checkup and from your doctor. Start walking. Can you start running? Can you put impact on your joints? But I think that would be the first thing to do. But what I would suggest beyond that is two things actually go hand in hand. Get an idea of a training plan depending on the goal that you set for yourself. If it's to go out and walk a mile or do a church or a community race with your family, 2, 3, 4 miles, get a coaching plan. And we can definitely come in on that point because we offer all kinds of opportunities to learn what you need and should be attentive to achieve that goal, right? Um,
Right.
and the second thing that goes hand in hand in that would be get a buddy and let everybody know what
Yes.
you want to do. If you say it, you feel it, you do it. Hey, y'all, come on with me. I'm going to get ready for this 2 mile race with my family at the church. I've got somebody that's going to help me learn how to do that. They're going to teach me a little bit about how to eat and drink and how to rest, what to do to pay attention to my body. Victor and Adele, they're amazing. They're great. They inspire me all the time. I want a buddy to do it with me. I'm putting it out there. I want somebody to cross the line with me. Let people know. You don't know who you can encourage that might say, I'll do it with you. I'll do it with you. And beyond that, those are the three biggies. Get a checkup, make
Okay.
sure you're physically capable, get a coaching plan, get somebody that can give you direction and you can be accountable to that coach. And then also get a buddy and make sure you get to where you want to go. Cross the first step,
Awesome.
cross the line.
Awesome. Yes. And if they want to contact you
Yeah.
specifically, they can go to the show notes below and contact. And if they need a training plan, there's also the website EYM Coaching to
Right.
download the training plan. And yeah, that's when you mentioned get a buddy. I always thought that if for some reason they can't think of any, they're always looking for running groups because there's running
Yeah.
groups everywhere. Just look up for a running group and get your buddy and have somebody accountable.
And if
Thank.
you know anybody in the community that's inspired you, ask them.
Oh
You
yeah.
never know if that person has somebody that you can contact that might be near you that can train with you and walk with you and support each other. But just like going to a community, ask somebody you already know and take it from there as well. And go into the community. Just everything's out there now. Even have city groups that say, "Hey, if you live in this area, this is when we go for our runs." And definitely let us know because we can make some contacts for you too.
Thank you. Thank you, Adele. This story has amazing. You're inspiring. I'm so happy to hear that you're cancer free
Yes,
and that you continue making a huge difference in people's lives, just sharing your story, doing the coaching and doing your work in the world. You are awesome. Thank you so
thank you.
much. Thank you, everybody. Our time's kind of come up. We'll see you in our next episode.
Mhm.
Stay tuned.
Bye, everybody. Have a great week.